Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to MOVIEidol. So I have a crazy sore throat, so if my voice sounds a little weird, that's why. But TV Line did an interview yesterday, and I was planning to do a video on this yesterday, but I was just working on a lot of music stuff. In that interview with Angela Kang, she teases that some revelations will be made surrounding Michonne's exit. Those revelations are likely that Rick has survived, and now Michonne needs to leave and go get him. So yeah, I want to talk about all of that. First, before we jump in, I do have to warn you for spoilers for the Whisperer War arc in the comic, and I guess spoilers for the show, though I guess I did kind of spoil something with Rick's exit. But also, quick question, how many of you guys have watched The Walking Dead on Netflix yet? I'm still in my rewatch right now. I do plan to have the Season 9 review out definitely before the Season 10 premiere. I need to have it out by then, but I watched up until Rick's final episode, and those episodes were definitely much better watching it a second time. Though I have watched the premiere and also Rick's final episode, I think like 3 or 4 times or something like that. But Angela Kang did an interview with TV Line, and in that she actually talked about a few things that I found really important. She talked about Carol and Daryl and said that there's going to be an emotional core between those two. She talked about Michonne and some revelations, and she also talked about Alpha and some other stuff like that. And there's also this photo here of, well, it's some corpse on the ground. A lot of people are thinking it's like Glenn or someone that died during that Whisperer Pike scene, but I'll talk about that in a separate video. I don't think it's Glenn. I really don't think it's Glenn, but I definitely think it was someone from the Whisperer Pike scene. At least it would be smart to do that, right? But let's get into what the article said here with TV Line. I'll leave a link down below if you want to check out the full article. Brace yourself, this conflict is intense. It's also as different from the Savior War as Negan is from Alpha. Someone like her doesn't have a traditional sort of battle strategy, so there are things that happen on both sides that are surprising and strange. There are elements of paranoia and a Cold War feeling. In the eye of the storm will be Carol and Daryl. There's an emotional core between the two of them, suggests Kang, that helps us understand the human toll of this story. Along the way, the story will lose Denai Guerrera, who has played Michonne since Season 3. In the heroine's final act, there are some things of major importance that we will learn, which have massive consequences. But we'll also get to showcase good old-fashioned Michonne being a badass. So that very last part a lot of people are talking about, because that really does hint that we are going to find out that Rick's alive. I think that's going to happen in Season 10. Like, that's really the only way for Michonne to leave. A lot of people have talked about this for quite a while now. Like, how is she going to leave? Which way makes sense? And at the end of the day, she's never going to leave her kids. She just wouldn't, right? Unless it was for something like this. She would only leave her kids if it meant like saving her family or doing something like that, you know? She would make sure her kids are in good hands, but she's gonna go get Rick back, sort of thing. Like before she leaves, she would make sure that her kids are like in good hands, and then she's gonna go and get Rick, like bring him back. I can definitely see that because, yeah, obviously, like that's going to happen. There's no other way I see Michonne leaving. Like, what, is she gonna leave just like Maggie left because she found some other purpose? If you do that, you're taking Judith and RJ with you. Michonne wouldn't leave her kids behind. If she did that, that would ruin her character. Her character is all about family right now. You know, she learned a lot from Rick, you know, spending all those seasons with Rick. She's become very family oriented. And so if Angela Kang did that with her character, it would just butcher the shit out of her character right now. And I don't think she's going to do that. I think Michonne's all about family. So since we know Judith is going to be on the show for the next however many seasons, probably until the end, same with RJ, there's got to be a reason for that separation. And it only comes down to 2 things, a death, or she needs to leave Alexandria for a greater purpose. That greater purpose has to be very dangerous, because if it isn't, then she would just bring her kids. But if it is very dangerous, she doesn't want to bring her kids. Well, what greater purpose could be out there that Michonne could go and follow, but is also going to be a satisfying exit to her story on The Walking Dead? I mean, it's about Rick. It has to be about Rick. Now, I think the crazy thing about all of this is that, like what Angela Kang says there are some things of major importance that we will learn. Now, if that definitely has to do with Michonne, like for sure has to do with Michonne, it's just how are they going to learn it? Like, that's going to be the major question going into Season 10 that I have. Is it at all connected to Eugene and this Commonwealth radio storyline? Is that radio storyline with Eugene even connected to the Commonwealth, or is that connected to something completely different? Do they get Jadis to come back and she's like, you know, she walks up to Alexandria and is like, Rick's alive, Rick's alive. Jadis goes and sees Gabriel, explains a lot of stuff. We get that type of revelation. That'd be a crazy detour in this season with the Whisperers and all that. That's why I think, I'm like, Season 10 is probably going to be the best season of all time. There is so much stuff that's going to be happening in this season. It's just ridiculous. Like, Season 9 is my favorite season of all time. It really is. A lot of stuff happened with Rick's exit, the Whisperer War, all those deaths that we got, the Whisperer Pike scene, like Daryl versus Beta. You got a lot of big moments, and every episode a big moment happened. In this season, we have the Whisperer War going on right now. I mean, first of all, look at that trailer. That trailer was just awesome. We then have Michonne's exit and then the revelation about Rick's survival, which is going to have crazy consequences on everything. And then obviously the Commonwealth that will probably get teased at the end of the season. And then Maggie's potential return, which I don't, at this point, isn't happening until like very late season 10. She might be a season 10 finale cliffhanger for season 11. Just because I've heard nothing in terms of what they're filming right now, she hasn't been on set. They would have announced that already. And so, yeah, she's definitely going to be like a season 10 finale thing, if she's even going to be in this season at all. But the massive consequences, and I want to focus on that part there, because there are some things of major importance that we will learn, obviously the Rick thing, but then it continues, which have massive consequences, but we'll also get to showcase good, old-fashioned Michonne being a badass. So that probably pertains to this scene here with Michonne and Lucille. Michonne's being a badass and all that kind of stuff, but the massive consequences. So there's something surrounding her exit that will have massive consequences. I think what they're hinting at there is that because they found out that Rick's alive, Michonne needs to leave, which means Michonne needs to leave her kids. And I think it's going to be very heartbreaking. I think that's probably going to be one of the most heartbreaking scenes ever. Michonne saying goodbye to Judith and RJ. But if anything, I don't see there being, like, I don't know, to me, I think it's going to be more bittersweet. There will be massive consequences, and it depends on how they do it, right? It might not be as simple as I'm laying out. Rick's survival revelation could be tied to something with the Whisperers. You never know. When Michonne finds something out, it could be, she was dealing with something with the Whisperers. Like, it could be very much tied in with the story. Maybe it has massive consequences on just them winning the war, right? Because what if they find out that Rick's alive? What if Michonne, Daryl, and other people want to leave, but they're dealing with this Whisperer war? They can't just leave Alexandria. So maybe when Michonne leaves, it actually kind of screws Alexandria over in a weird way. That could definitely be a possibility in all this. I also want to talk about something regarding Carol and Daryl, because Angela Kang does say that there's an emotional core between the two of them, suggests Kang, that helps us understand the human toll of this story. So I do think what she's getting at there is that, because Henry died and because Henry is so connected to Carol and also connected to Daryl as well, that's why we see these two characters coming together this season for the first time in a very long time. Yes, they were together a lot in season 9 and all that, but if you watch the season 10 trailer, they're together so much. Like, I think they're going to be very much a team this season. They're going to be pretty inseparable. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out, especially when you consider that Lydia is very much, she's alone right now. She practically only has Daryl, but we did get some teases at Negan being involved in some way. Like, Negan is a loner as well, right? Daryl kind of has people around. As much as he is like a loner, he does have people around. But with Negan, he is a loner. Nobody likes him. And Lydia could feel the same way. Like, I know for a fact there's going to be a ton of people in Alexandria that don't like her. So we know Negan is very, very charismatic. She's going to start buying into some stuff that he is saying. And also, Negan's not really wrong. Sometimes anyways, like the stuff he says, he does have a point. So I think that's going to be the most fascinating thing out of all of this. Like, we're going to have that weird, like, Carol, Daryl, Negan, Lydia storyline. Like, those four characters, like, they really do connect in a lot of ways, but then we're gonna have stuff with Negan and Judith and also with Michonne because she's leaving. Everything ties together with the Whisperers. Like, we're gonna have a lot of different stories, and I really can't wait to see what Angela Kang does this season to advance all of this. This is what I love about season 9 and season 10. This is why I love the fact that Angela Kang took over, because if you look at season 7 and 8, there weren't these complex relationships. There wasn't all of this connected to everything. Every other character was an empty shell for the most part. There was just Rick's team and Negan's team. Really as simple as that. Like, if you were Rick, you got a lot of story. If you were Negan, you got a lot of story. All the other characters, they showed some stuff here and there, but it wasn't like this. Like, the writing wasn't as great as what Angela Kang is doing right now. So yeah, I'm excited for season 10, but post your thoughts down below. What do you think Angela Kang is talking about when she says that there are some things of major importance that we will learn which have massive consequences, but we'll also get to showcase good old-fashioned Michonne being a badass? Because with that whole sentence, she is referencing Michonne's exit. So that only tells me one thing, that Rick's survival is going to be revealed to our entire group. I really just can't wait to see Daryl's reaction. That's a big one. I guess Daryl, Michonne, and Negan, because Negan's gonna be like, what? Also, I think I will have another Walking Dead video coming out later today, because I did promise that I was gonna have one out daily leading up until the season 10 premiere, and I did miss yesterday because I was working on some music. So I'll try post one later on today, and also I'm watching It, so I will have my review out either later on tonight or early tomorrow. So stay tuned for that, but I hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.